And man, oh man, double barrel action in the NFL on Monday Night Football struck again last night.
Yeah, that's how you felt?
Yep. Love me some DBA.
You know where there ain't no double Brady's, double barrels?
Where's that?
Double barrel action.
No double barrels in South Florida, though. I'm just saying.
What do you mean?
No double barrels there. You know.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. He's saying they got no ammo.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. They got ammo.
They got no firepower.
Jeez.
I mean, Tyler Huntley's in a difficult spot. You know, he's in a pretty difficult spot. He just got there like an hour and a half ago. And, now there's, people wondering whether or not, the Dolphins players are just going to bail on the season in general. And, just not a great look. But the Tennessee Titans are on the board. First one of the season. Mason Rudolph in relief. And so if you're a Tennessee Titan fan, you got to feel good about that if you're listening right now in Nashville.
You know, I was thinking, though, you know how people are like, Tyler Huntley starting. I was like, who's the backup? I mean, you think they're bad off if Tyler Huntley's starting. What if he gets hurt? Like, Tim Boyle's their backup.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Because, you look at Huntley and, how's he asked to play. He's probably asked also to not get hurt because he's the guy that's been getting all the reps to prepare for this game. Tim Boyle probably hasn't gotten almost anything. I mean, think about how dire of a situation that is if you're Miami.
I mean, I ain't one to encourage getting hurt, but I certainly am not one to encourage looking that poorly when you're out there on the field either. I mean, if you got to risk it, go ahead and risk it because if that's what you're putting on film. I don't know what comes next for you. You're getting an opportunity to start in the National Football League. I don't know what's left. I looked at it like this. I thought the first thing I thought about, because I think about you guys when I watch these games, right? The first thing I thought about, it's kind of weird, but I do, because obviously, Q's going to come with his commentary, and he's already said things. You come with your commentary, you've already said things. So I think about the things that you've said in the past, and I compare it to the things I see right now so that I can conversate for the future, because Q loves to jump on you when you say something that he doesn't like. So first thing I thought was, Q said, you're going to find out how good or how much Tua meant to this team now that he's not in. And I was like, God dang, he's right. These boys suck. Right?
Why can't I think of a song that would be appropriate for this moment,
They stink, man.
Don't know what you got until it's gone.
Yeah.
They stink without him. So then I started.
I don't know much, but I know I love you.
Hey, that looked just like Mike McDaniel's look on the sideline last night when he was looking at how that monstrosity was unfolding in front of him. So then I started thinking to myself, why does he look so blank? Like his face was just blank. And all I could think about was he just kept thinking about Tua being on the sideline. And look, go ahead, turn it on up. You can turn it on up.
I mean, there's a reason the guy got paid. And there's a reason
why he got paid.
There's a reason why they've been a playoff team.
There was a reason why they made the playoffs.
He's actually pretty good.
And you know what? We didn't know much, but we now know it was Tua.
I love you.
And that is why Tua can't retire. We're talking about concussions.
Hey, Tua.
I'm sorry.
Hey, here's an Advil. We need you, buddy.
Sorry. I'm sorry, Tua. All I know is, listen, they looking at me like I could be a possible Coach of the Year contender. They're looking at our team as one of the hottest teams, could possibly win our division finally and foremost. We attacking old-ass coaches that then said that you wasn't much of anything from before. I'm going to stick up for you. You stuck up for yourself. Everybody's feeling good. The police then grabbed up on Tariq Hill. They felt a certain type of way. There was just all kinds of stuff circulating and flowing around about the Miami Dolphins. They was creating a buzz, and the buzz is gone.
Yeah.
And I feel like, is this more of how good Tua is as a player, or is this more of an indictment on your coaching staff and having the next guy ready to go, the next guy up ready to go and prepared and ready to go, which, like, that was my final question, that instead of me answering, I felt like the perfect approach to this would be to pose that as a question.
It's a good question. I think, oh, man.
Yeah.
The way I'd answer this is the NFL has lessened, I think, the impact of and importance of a backup quarterback. Now, in this case, Skylar Thompson got hurt, so it kind of is what it is. But even then, teams, because they're investing so much into their starter, and they're not investing, into a guy behind him, either because I don't know if they're worried that maybe there'd be an issue in the quarterback room if the guy's got some experience or he's done something before. Whatever the case may be, I just think you've got to have a quarterback room that's good enough to be able to withstand the punishment from an NFL season through 17 games with a younger generation of quarterbacks that are going to get hurt. They're going to get hurt. They don't play the game the way the older generations used to from the pocket. It's a different game. And because of that, they've got to figure out a way of circumventing like these issues throughout the season, because to your point about the team and whether or not they're going to quit, and Jonas kind of had brought that up. I think it's too early for that to happen, but there's not a lot of time left. They start continuing down this path. Statistically speaking, it would be really difficult for them to be able to come back and be a playoff team. And that is a tough reality to face so early on into the season. So you're 1-3, and Tua can't come back till week 7. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
They got 2 more games without him?
Yep.
1-5. Been there on a team. Like, guys will hang around a little bit before Pro Bowl. And once those things are announced, baby, they out. They're done. Like, they don't want any part of it. That's the tough part about this. It becomes a very individual game where guys are focused on Pro Bowl, individual accolades, stats, bonuses. And once those things are reached, or once it looks out of hand, out of touch, it's a different story. But, look at the other side. Tennessee Titans have to have Mason Rudolph comes in. And Mason Rudolph played pretty well in replace of Will Levis.
Yes, he did.
But like that, we're talking about, just one of these games last night where that was the issue, because you've got injuries with those quarterbacks. And we talked about Anthony Richardson and Joe Flacco coming in. You can go across the league right now and look at it and say that there's guys who are getting banged up left and right. You better have a backup that can come in and win you some football games. I think that's more the state of the NFL right now, unless you've got a stud and a starter who knows how to play the game from the pocket.
So we've seen Kevin O'Connell has taken multiple quarterbacks, and they've played good football with them. Kyle Shanahan obviously has had multiple quarterbacks. So if Mike McDaniel's part of that, is his how much different, and this is a nerdy football question, but how much different is his offense, and how much more difficult is it to learn or grasp that they're struggling to find somebody behind Tua to play well?
It's not that they're struggling to find someone to play well. It's maybe who they have behind him. Skylar Thompson had a good preseason 2 years ago. This past one wasn't great. There's writing on the wall in regards to that specific, person taking over. I was a bit surprised they didn't bring someone else in to bring in some competition. So to me, it's more surprising that he's the backup that they've got. Whereas there's other, like Ryan Tannehill, would have made a lot of sense. Still don't know why at this point.
Still don't know why. With the injuries that he's sustained in terms of Tua, and knowing that he's a concussion away from being in the exact situation they're in right now. You don't go into the season not knowing this. You can't be oblivious to the fact that Tua's one hit away from you needing another guy to go in. Why would you not have a starter level backup on your roster? Why would you not have that? That was like, I'm sitting there asking myself, we were joking about it. It's like, oh, Snoop, hey, he's going to start this, that, and the other. What does that look like? If you're not confident enough in what it is that you have schematically to bring in a guy off the street and put him into your offense and still have a good game because of the type of talent that you have all over the field, then why do you not already have that contingency plan in play? That's what's confusing to me. Like we could have this conversation about some other teams, right? And say, okay, well, this team, Green Bay or Pittsburgh or the Jets or whatever it may be. We could have this conversation. And part of you is kind of like, well, the guy they have starting is the guy they have starting, or they have a quarterback, kind of a deal. They're fighting it out to get the position, whatever it may be. If I am the Miami Dolphins, the first thing I think about is, who is my backup quarterback? Who's my backup quarterback? And that should always be my question as long as Tua is starting. No shade to Tua, just being realistic that my guy is the guy that runs our offense. He runs our team. We want his confidence level up. That's great. I can only stress to Tua, if I'm the coach, that, listen, I know that we have a backup that was a starter in this league. I know that we had a backup that is talented enough, could possibly challenge you for what it is that you guys have going on. But the bottom line to me is that when you look at what it is that's taking place with Tua right now, how do you not have a backup that is the equivalent of a starter backing him up? It's got to be the biggest question that was not answered in terms of coming into this season with Tua as your starter.